Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Today I will talk about the explosive news of the defection of a Chinese scientist who have helped develop the CCP's hypersonic missiles and why it could be a game changer. Then I will discuss the dispute between the US and the CCP surrounding the exit of US diplomats from China. After that, I will show you a video of the CCP's sports delegation pledging its loyalty to the CCP leader at Tiananmen Square and let you decide what you want to take away from it. Several days ago, Express in the UK reported that a senior Chinese scientist had just defected to the West. He had helped develop a mid-range hypersonic boost glide vehicle capable of carrying DF-17 missiles to a range of up to 2,000 miles. So his defection has allowed Britain and the US to accelerate defensive programs against the use of hypersonic missiles. It could also take the CCP 2 years to tweak its system and render this intelligence ineffective. This piece of news was described as explosive by many China observers, and his defection was called the most important one in the CCP's history in terms of the value of the information he has given to the West. Apart from what he remembers in his mind, he also smogged out very valuable technical data. Why is his defection most important? A while ago, I did a show to talk about how a PLA, People's Liberation Army of the CCP commander, bragged about the CCP's hypersonic missiles. He said that after this kind of missile system was developed, nuclear bombs are hovering above the heads of Americans all the time and can be dropped from space at any time when needed. The US missile defense system are reduced to nothing. This is a subversive change, and the CCP is now in the position of strategic advantage, etc. I remember when the news of the CCP's hypersonic missile test was first reported in October. It caused quite a lot of shockwaves in the international world, as this is one of the very few areas where the CCP's technology is more advanced than the US. With the current global tensions, this is, of course, a very big deal, a very big threat. However, the defection of these Chinese scientists means that the CCP will lose this advantage soon. This is no doubt a big, big blow to the CCP. The reason why the Chinese scientist defected is very interesting too. It is not because of his political dissent towards his masters in Beijing, but because he felt that he was not treated fairly. He was passed over for promotion, although he had made a lot of contributions. So on the surface, this event looks like an unexpected accident, but in fact, it is not. I think it is still pretty much related to the CCP's corrupt system. Inside this system, connections and background are the most important things. If you have good connections or come from a red family, you have a good chance to get a promotion and receive a lot of benefits. On the contrary, if you come from an ordinary family, even if you have the talent and make a lot of contributions, you are still nobody. You can't even get basic respect that every human being is entitled to from his fellow human beings. Smuggling out valuable secrets and defecting to the so-called enemy is not a minor ordeal. If this scientist has got caught, all his family would have surely been killed. So we can only imagine that the anger and dissatisfaction this scientist has toward the CCP must be huge, big enough for him to take such a risky move. We have an old saying in China, 人算不如天算, which means humans' calculations will never beat heaven's will. So maybe this is heaven's will to stop the CCP's mad ambition to conquer the world with nuclear bombs. Or maybe it is a sign that the CCP is going downhill very fast. In any case, the defection of these scientists has surely changed the military arena of the world and is a game changer for the free world. There's another incident that is really worth reporting. On January 26, the CCP's mouthpiece Global Times reported that the US is playing its dirty trick again by planning to authorize the departure of embassy staff ahead of the Olympics, citing China's pandemic situation. Some other media outlets also covered this issue. It was reported that the US diplomats in Beijing cannot withstand the extreme control in China, such as separating their young children with their parents during quarantine. And Washington Post reported that Chinese government performed annual swab tests on US diplomatic officials. It was also said that 25% of the US diplomats wanted to leave China. When responding to this matter, the CCP's foreign ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian said, China is no doubt the safest country in the world now. Evacuation from the safest place only will increase the chances of getting infected. The US line of reasoning is confusing and can hardly be justified. In the meantime, the Global Times said that this happened because the US State Department is taking a disruptive move in response to the Beijing Winter Olympics and China's dynamic zero COVID policy. What I want to say here is the CCP's zero tolerance policy, as well as other policies, will have to fail, as they have never understood the mentality of people in the free world. The US diplomats want to leave China because they don't want to be treated like animals or criminals. They don't want to be subjected to things like annual swab tests and separation from their children. But the CCP cannot understand this. Like Zhao Lijian said, China is the safest country in the world now. Why do you want to leave the safest country and go back to such a dangerous country like the US? This mentality is the same when the CCP says that the right to live or survive is the most important human right. If this in the CCP's mind, as long as you are still alive, things are good enough for you. You shouldn't ask for anything else. Also, after treating its own people in this way for many years, the CCP started to think that it could also treat people from other countries, even diplomats, just the same. In any country, diplomats should be treated with respect and enjoy diplomatic immunities. But in CCP's China, things are totally different. Like I said before, one cannot expect the very basic respect that every human being is entitled to. Also, while the CCP has often criticized others for politicizing the Olympics, it is the one that connects the wish of US diplomats to leave China with the Beijing Olympics and says that this was a planned move to disrupt the Beijing Olympics. How can the exit of some diplomats disrupt the Olympics, right? Talking about the Beijing Olympics, let me show you a video I just translated this morning. This is something you won't see elsewhere. It is a ceremony held on January 25th, showing the Chinese sports delegation making oaths at Tiananmen Square before they officially start their participation in the Games.
祖国，冲冲冲！不负人民，拼拼拼！浩大领袖，我出去，永争第一，不认怂！跟着总书记一起向未来！中国必胜，祖国万岁！中国必胜！加油，加油，加油！
What do you think? After participating in the CCP's flag-raising ceremony, they gathered at Tiananmen Square and pledged that they would risk or sacrifice everything to pay back the CCP leader, and they would follow the CCP leader into the future, etc. So the athletes from around the world will be competing with such a team, as far as I can see. A CCP's version of the SS Nazi Schutzstaffel, right? As this team is the CCP's team, which only defends the CCP. Let's watch another video which shows how the situation continues to be out of control in China. This video was from Hangzhou City in Zhejiang Province. What do you think? This video reminds me of the CCP's famous slogan, putting all our strengths together to achieve big goals. The CCP believes that because it controls everything in China and has everything in China at its disposal, so it can do whatever it likes and in whatever way it likes. This morning, I read another piece of news saying that the CCP only reported 2 new deaths in the past 18 months. This report is from May 17, 2020. The reported death toll was 4,634, and the current number is 4,636, so only 2 more deaths in more than 18 months. You know, when I read about something, I always try to verify it, so I checked the CCP's official website and found that the death number is displayed as 5,700, not 4,636. So what's wrong here? Is the report about only 2 more deaths wrong, but it is from a reliable source? So I checked further and found the secret. They have actually included Hong Kong and Taiwan's death toll in it. Look at the 2 top rows. 213 deaths from Hong Kong, 851 deaths from Taiwan, and going downward, one from Zhejiang Province. We just saw more than 400 buses taking more than 20,000 people away from Hangzhou City, right? Hangzhou City is precisely in Zhejiang province, yet they reported only 1 death in Zhejiang province. The fourth row is for Beijing with 9 deaths reported. So if you take away Hong Kong's 213 deaths and Taiwan's 851 from 5,700, the number is still 4,636. That's how the CCP even plays politics with their medical numbers. They list Taiwan as a province of China. With other countries reporting tens of thousands of new cases in 1 day and hundreds of thousands of deaths, nobody will believe the CCP's numbers anymore. Maybe the CCP also knows that its own numbers are too unbelievable. But what can they do now? The lies were already made, so they have to make up more lies to cover up the initial ones. I'm really interested in seeing how and when they will no longer be able to pile up any more lies on top of the old ones, and then everything collapses. Well, that's all for today. I'm still banned from using my main channel today, so I'm streaming on this new channel. So please do help me fight back against censorship by sharing my channels and videos, as well as considering signing up for a membership or making a donation at my website at jenniferzengblog.com. Thank you very much. See you next time. Have a nice weekend.